Seth quotes chapter 5, Good, Evil. Seth: You were born with a built-in recognition of your own goodness. You were born with an inner recognition of your rightness in the universe. You are a cooperative species and a loving one. Your misunderstandings, your crimes, and your atrocities, real as they are seldom committed out of any intent to be evil, but because of severe misinterpretations about the nature of good and the means that can be taken toward its actualization. There are certain tendencies, mental stances that you would take about yourself, your body, and your life to one degree or another. Many of these will be directly or indirectly connected with old myths and beliefs of your forefathers. Your ideas of good and evil are highly important, for instance. Few can escape putting value judgments in these arenas. If you consider illness as a kind of moral stigma, then you will simply add an unneeded quality to any condition of ill health. Such judgments are simplistic and ignore the great range of human motivation and experience. If you are bound and determined that God creates only good, then any physical deficiency or illness or deformity becomes an affront to your belief, threatens it, and makes you angry and resentful. Your scientific beliefs tell you that your entire world happened accidentally. Your religions tell you that man is sinful. A generalized fear and suspicion is generated, and life too often becomes stripped of any heroic qualities. As long as you believe in the basic evil of man, then you must project upon yourself great punishment. You must see your world destroyed, as so will you have prophets to tell you so, and so they will speak the truth, for they will speak from your own beliefs in the ideal of your own evil. Now, there will be no Holocaust unless you believe that you are so evil that you as a race must punish yourselves. But there will always be benign old spirits like me that tell you that, although you are bad, you are perfectly bad and utterly beautiful, and nothing will destroy you unless you are convinced you are, as a race, so evil you must be destroyed. And even then, only those who so believe will partake in that probability. The prophets speak truly, that speak of doom. They speak truly when they speak from a framework that believes in doom. But that framework is a mere probability that gains its strength only from a belief in evil. So the prophets felt that belief and are themselves terribly driven by that belief, and paint dire pictures that reside within the psyche of those who themselves feel damned. There are other directions that your race can take, and I'm trying to point out these directions to you. And if you take those directions, then indeed, in your terms, there will be a birth of a new species, a species that understands its blessed creaturehood, that understands its spirituality, that does not despoil its planet, that purposely creates the kind of world a sane God would create, a God who has no need for heaven or hell. Quite simply, a belief in the good without a belief in the evil may seem highly unrealistic to you. This belief, however, is the best kind of insurance that you can have, both during physical life and afterwards. It may outrage your intellect, and the evidence of your physical senses may shout that it is untrue. Yet a belief in good without a belief in evil is actually highly realistic. Your beliefs generate emotion. It is somewhat fashionable to place feelings above conscious thoughts, the idea being that emotions are more basic and natural than conscious reasoning is. The two actually go together, but your conscious thinking largely determines your emotions and not the other way around. Your beliefs generate the appropriate emotion that is implied. The race must learn the value of the individual man. The race is also learning its dependence upon others, other species, and beginning to comprehend its part in the whole framework in physical reality. Now, some individuals are being reborn at this time simply to help you understand. They are forcing the issue and forcing the crisis for you to still have time to change your ways. You are working on two main problems, but both involve the sacredness of the individual and the individual's relationship with others and with all physically oriented consciousness. The problem of war will sooner or later teach you that when you kill another man, basically you will end up killing yourself. The overpopulation problem will teach you that if you do not have a loving concern for the environment in which you dwell, it will no longer sustain you. You will not be worthy of it. You will not be destroying the planet you see. You will not be destroying the birds or the flowers or the grain or the animals. You will not be worthy of them, and they will be destroying you. You have set up the problem for yourself within the framework of your reference. You will not understand your part within the framework of nature until you actually see yourself in danger of tearing it apart. You will not destroy consciousness. It will not annihilate the consciousness of even one leaf, but of your context. If the problem were not solved, these would fade from your experience. The crisis is a kind of therapy, and you need it now because your race embarks upon journeys to other physical realities. You must learn your lessons now in your own backyard before you travel to other worlds. So you have brought this upon yourself for that purpose, and you will learn. If you become so frightened of realities that are not your own, if you take upon yourselves tragedies that do not exist in your reality, in your moment, you weaken your position and you think you are helping. You must operate from strength, not from weakness. When you stand on a firm shore, you can extend your arm to the man that is in quicksand. You cannot help him by leaping into the quicksand with him, for surely both of you will go down, and he will not thank you. Organize your reality according to your strength. Organize your reality according to your playfulness, according to your dreams, according to your hopes, and then you can help those who organize their reality according to their fears. Seth quotes chapter 6. Comments of fate. Seth, if you accept the possibility of the slightest, smallest, most insignificant accident, then indeed you open a Pandora's box. For logically, there cannot be simply one small accident. In that case, but a universe in which accidents are not the exception but the rule. A universe in which, therefore, following logic, your consciousness would appear to be an accidental combination of atoms and molecules without reason or cause that will vanish into non-existence forever, even as indeed they would have come from non-existence. Once you accept, you see, that idea, then if you follow your thought completely enough, you must accept the idea of a random universe in which you are at the mercy of an accident, in which mind or purpose have little meaning, in which you are at the mercy of all random happenings, such as during a flood or earthquake, without reason, without cause, simply at the whim of an accidental happening. Now, people oftentimes live through personal disasters, natural disasters, in which they are pitted against nature as they know it, hurricanes, floods, earthquakes. But these are no accidents. So on other levels, they chose those circumstances, whether they realize it or not, through their conscious beliefs. And if that is the sort of universe in which you believe you live, then it is a dire and foreboding universe indeed. In such a universe, the individual has little hope, for he will return to the non-existence that he came from. The individual has no control over his destiny and can be swept aside at any point by random fate over which he has no recourse. All of this can be related to ordinary life. Whenever you think that you have a headache, simply because you have a headache, or you bump into a door, or you have an accident simply because you happen to be in a particular place at a particular time, whenever you feel yourself powerless, then you think accidents just happen and that you have no control over them. The only answer is to realize that you form physical events individually and in mass. And as I have said time and time again, you form the physical reality that you know. Peace. Chapter 7. Seth. Your civilization is in sad straits, not because you have allowed spontaneity or fulfillment to individuals, but because you have denied it, and because your institutions are based upon that premise. You think that, left alone, the natural inclinations of man would destroy civilizations, that what indeed started civilization, if not the natural inclinations of man? What began the cooperation that allows people to unite even in tribes, if not the natural inclinations of man? If you learn to trust your being, then you will be able to trust your institutions and your civilizations. You equate spontaneity with irresponsibility, abandon with evil. If you abandon yourselves to yourselves, then what good would seem to spring out of the heavens of your being? Your world is not in dire straits because you trust yourself, but precisely because you do not. Your social institutions are set up to fence in the individual rather than to allow the natural development of the individual. I come here because it is fun. I have fun when I come here. I do not come here because I feel that I have any great responsibility for your beings or welfare. Who am I to set myself against the innate wisdom of your own individual being, or to take upon my invisible shoulders the great privilege or joyful responsibility for your behavior and destiny? There is nothing more stimulating, more worthy of actualization than the desire to change the world for the better. That is indeed each person's mission. It is not enough to meditate or to imagine in your mind some desired goal being accomplished, if you are afraid to act upon the very impulses to which your meditations and imaginings give rise. Meditation must be followed by action, and true meditation is action. It takes aggressive energy to send forth thoughts and feelings of peace. So your ideas of aggression is completely wrong. Aggression is action. And the thoughts of peace radiated outward take aggression and joy and vitality. If you do not like the state of your world, it is you yourselves that must change, individually and in mass. This is the only way that change will be effected. The responsibility for your life and your world is indeed yours. You form your own dreams and you form your own physical reality. The world is the physical materialization of the inner selves which you have formed. You must honor yourselves and see within yourselves the spirit of eternal validity. You must honor all other individuals because within each is the spark of this validity. Do not fall into the old ways that will lead you precisely into the world that you fear. There is no man who hates but that hatred is reflected outward and made physical. And there is no man that who loves but that love is reflected outward and made physical. The human race is a stage through which various forms of consciousness travel. Yours is a training system for emerging consciousness. You must first learn to handle the energy and see through physical materialization the concrete result of thought and emotion.